everyone. Welcome to Conjure Crew. We didn't talk about who was going to do the introduction, so you want me to just do it?
Yeah.
So today's topic is angels and demons. And we asked the Demon King, I always point backwards, the Demon King to join us today. We are not doing readings, so this is Conjure Crew. It's basically a talk show about stuff we want to talk about. And today we want to talk about the angels and demons. So welcome, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody.
So, Marcus, do you prefer to be called King of Thorns or Demon King, or what's the name that you prefer?
I don't know. Marcus is fine.
I got you. So last week, or not last week, the week before, we kind of left off because we got into the dinosaurs and evolution in the Bible and everything. And of course, I went down the rabbit hole that night with all that craziness, and I was still confused as fuck. I just want to put that out there. But we said that we were going to talk about guardian demons. And actually, Marcus was my first introduction into even thinking about demons as entities that you can work with. I mean, of course, I've always worked with angels. So it was like, I don't understand why I didn't think about the flip side of it. But Marcus kind of opened that door up. And I think, Marcus, were you the one that even, you were the one that got us on that deck, right?
I think it was Lynna.
Was it Lynna?
Yeah, it was either Lynna or Shishi that introduced it. I think it might have been Shishi. I think it might have been Shishi that introduced us.
It may have been because wasn't she talking about her skins deck?
Yeah, because she was talking about another deck.
That's right.
The Goetia Tarot that I ordered. The Goetia Tarot.
Yeah, because Shishi, you were actually looking at a different deck, right? And then I looked it up, and then I found that deck. So.
And then Marcus told me about it, and I, of course, had to get it.
And then I had to get it because I think Lynna came over here and showed me, and Lynna goes, "Oh, but I have an extra one," because she always buys 2 decks. So Lynna was like, "Here, you can take this one," and I was kind of blown away by the grimoire with it because it broke down all the demons. It broke down their powers. It broke down the birthdays that were associated with that particular demon. And it became really interesting to me. And that's when I started kind of going with Marcus, going deeper, trying to figure out more about it. So Marcus, tell us a little bit about the 72 demons. Give us an overview of the grimoire and why, or for people who have no idea or maybe even a little bit confused about why we're talking about demons.
No. He needs to go in great detail about each and every one of the 72 demons and the 72 angel counterparts.
We would be here for 3 months.
I'm teasing. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like, are you referring to the grimoire in your possession right now, Lynna, or are you referring to the original source material for the
however you want to do it.
Okay, so we'll start with the original source material. So the 72 demons from, what's the name of the deck? I can't remember.
The Oracle of Heaven and Hell.
Okay, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, they feature the 72 angels of the Shemhem-Farash, and the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia. So starting with the demons, the Ars Goetia is book 1 of 5 within a corpus called the Lemegeton, or the Lesser Key of Solomon. It's the first book presented, and it's all about evoking the 72 demons of hell in that particular hierarchy. And essentially, I suppose it's like any other form of spirit work where you summon said entity to get things to do for you. But in the originals, it has a very Judeo-Christian operandus. It's also one of the more notable or more popular grimoires that's made into the mainstream. Heck, a lot of the comics and anime, the Japanese manga and anime actually are starting to use the higher inspiration from that book into certain anime and manga. So it's literally pretty popular in the mainstream too. But yeah, it's the entire system is about evoking demons and essentially carrying out tasks for you. With the 72 angels, that I'm actually not too particularly sure the origins, with the exception of the source material, the Sefer Raziel, which is not exactly the angels, but it's the 72-fold name of God. And I believe it's taken from a chapter of Exodus. And depending on how you write the verse in Hebrew, you would derive the 72 names of God in that fashion. And according to the grimoire, it's you're able to learn the secrets of creation and other things to help you along in your magic, long and short of it. At least from the week that I had to actually review Sefer Raziel. But that has also gone under, if the 72 angels were derived from that book, to be honest, I'm not sure if there is a specific a specific grimoire that came after Sefer Raziel. And I suppose we can get more into like how those angels are derived from the 72 names later on, but essentially that's supposedly where they come from. I haven't been able to mine out the actual 72 angels from a different grimoire, but yeah, we'll get into that later once we get our bearings.
Get the bearings, because it really, it goes deep. I think there's a lot of history and there's a lot of information out there, and I'm kind of like you. I think because I have a 13-year-old niece, I've noticed that you see more of the demons showing up in anime lately, where a lot of these younger kids are understanding who these demons are and how to work with them because they're seeing them in media that is geared towards them. So the foundation is really interesting because as an adult, literally, I was 50 when of course I knew demons existed, but the way that you broke it down, I was much older when I started to even research these particular demons. So I think it's interesting that you even brought up anime because a lot of parents that have children don't even know that.
Well, yeah, it's well, the Ars Goetia being very very mainstream, it was bound to happen anyway, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
for the last like year or two, it's been making it to Japanese animation. I don't know why, but they seem to like the concept of it, I guess. But mind you, the Ars Goetia only presents one hierarchy of hell. There are many hierarchies and some crossovers of those spirits as well into other grimoires. So
I feel as though when it comes to manga and anime, demonology has been in there for a while. Because there's Demon Hunter Yoko. There were so many anime that already had it in there.
True.
But I think maybe to go into detail of it, maybe that's becoming
More mainstream.
more mainstream.
hmm.
But demons are always in manga and anime. For some reason, I've seen so many of them. But for me, I have not worked with any demons, although I'm now getting the Goetia Tarot. I have the Luciferian Tarot. I was going to get the Demon Possessed Tarot, but I have not, as of yet, worked with any demons. And I know you and I have spoken, and it's definitely something that you want to be wise about and very informed about, because you don't want to be pulling up something that you can't put back, and you don't want to get yourself caught into something that may have a loophole that may be not to your benefit. So my question to you is, because we talked about this towards the end of this last week's show. Tanya was saying, just like we have a guardian angel, we also have a guardian demon, which is when we got into the grimoire that Lynna sent to me.
Okay.
So can you tell us about that?
Okay. So this might get a little convoluted. So you have to understand that, you know, the grimoires themselves are written originally in a Judeo-Christian paradigm. So back medieval Renaissance, like 1600s onwards, right? So you have to understand their understanding as well as how they view demons in that time. And you know, a lot of the views on those particular entities nowadays, right? So if we're going by the original myth, there is no such thing as a guardian demon. The only thing that they're there for is to cause misery to everything else, right? Now, it wasn't the Advent until, I believe, when we get into the more contemporary modern era of magic, after the Renaissance, the revival of the Golden Dawn, and the what was it? Golden Dawn, Thelema, and then like getting into like the modern traditions like chaos magic and stuff, where, you know, an entity is an entity, not with like the Golden Dawn and Thelema, because they still had that the good evil high low dichotomy, but for the modern interpretations, a spirit is a spirit, right? Now I believe it comes out of Agrippa's 4 books of occult philosophy. I don't quote me on that, but there is a way to derive the natal angel and the natal and the evil genius from your birth chart. And those are kind of like the stereotypical angel demon on your shoulder sort of thing. And, you know, one whispers, you know, wisdom, the other one whispers temptation. And that has also has that kind of good evil dichotomy as well. But now that you know, that's that part. Some traditions know about that there is like an evil spirit that's born with you too, to, you know, thwart your activities and lead you down to temptation. Some of the more modern traditions, like demonolatry or LHP, would consider that instead like your guardian demon and your guardian angel, or, you know, however they interpret it. But again, traditionally, from the Judeo-Christian perspective, that guy is supposed to not guard you. That guy is supposed to lead you, discourage you, mislead you, discourage you, and just you know, mess around until it's bound and, you know, sealed away so that it doesn't interfere with the rest of your life, essentially.
So basically, the guardian demon, or the concept of him, is just he brings fuckery into your life. Because I remember when we first started talking about the genius and binding him, and you were telling me, you know, this is why we bind, so that this particular spirit cannot cause any type of havoc. You're putting it away, and I kind of equated that with like your shadow energy, the aspects of you that you don't want to deal with, that may cause problems. Let's just go ahead and put it away so you don't have to deal with it. So that's really interesting.
Well, the thing is, I know with shadow work, well, the whole purpose of that is to integrate the least desirable parts of yourself back into balance, right? That's the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the evil genius is just meant to mess shit up in your life. And again, I don't see you. Originally, the way it's seen is that it's not really there to be integrated, right? In its original form, right? It's meant to either be ignored or be sealed away and dealt with at a later time.
How do you know? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So when you're dealing with the aspects, because I mean, there really is balance, because some of us, maybe that's how we learn the lessons in life, is because we have something that is challenging us. If you're putting that away, are you taking away your catalyst for helping you maybe change?
That's
I mean,
That's a really complex question, because depending on which tradition you're looking at and which mythology you're looking at, either Jewish or Judaism or Christianity, the answers will be different, though similar.
I agree.
Right? Depending on if you're, especially when you're looking at not just the religion, but the mysticism behind the religion, right? And because they will have different answers too. So, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Do we not need this this genius to balance us out and to help us to cause the havoc that is the catalyst for us to learn lessons?
Well, to Jewish mysticism, humans already inherently have desire, right? That's why there's temptation. That's why there's sin. And then the thing is, the reasoning is, the reason why we have that desire is that if we don't have anything to drive us forward, we'll just remain inert, right? But it's not a demon whispering in our ear. It's just what is created as inherently as humans, right? To Christians, at least back then, right? Yeah, Satan didn't do it. There are demons, thwarting my chance into heaven, or
You had something to blame your bad behavior on.
Exactly, and that's why the devil becomes the scapegoat, at least in the Christian paradigm. And it's way more complicated in the Jewish paradigm too. And I've explained this to you before, right?
It is. It's interesting to look at it, because, like you said, you're dealing with spirits that, like you say, people put something. It was created to throw that on them. Well, I killed these people because this aspect of me made me do it, or I cheated on my husband or my wife because, like you said, the devil made me do it. But the way that you utilize demons and the way you made me kind of come to grow a fondness and not be so much fearful was that you showed that there is actually a connection where that could be beneficial.
Well, you have to demarcate, like the way I see it. The way you have to demarcate what is religion and what is mysticism, right? Because even though they're derived from the same beliefs, they have different purposes, right? Religion is meant for you to show you how to live your life by their rules and regulations.
Through control. Yeah. Through control.
And mysticism, at least behind the religion, is to show, well, at least from my perspective, to show you the why you follow those rules and why you live the way you live, right? And it goes beyond just a book, right?
Mm-hmm. So then, saying that, according to the grimoire that Lynna sent us, the Oracle of Heaven and Hell grimoire.
Okay. So the thing with that book, that book is stemming from another system, so called the Goetia of Dr. Rudd. And that is the one that presents both the 72 angels of the Shemhem Mepharash and in conjunction with the 72 demons of the Goetia. As far as I understood from what I read and from the consensus of other occultists, that book was a grimoire of convenience, more or less. So if you read the original source material, they are two different systems. And with Mama Stars and thing about mixing and moxing, you're not supposed to do that. But the Goetia Dr. Rudd presents both a method of evocation of those goetic spirits in conjunction with the 72 angels of the Shemapfrash, because it is a style, one of the two styles of evocation in the grimoire tradition. You either have a thwarting style or a spirit-friendly style is the other way I can describe it. And that in the original style, it's a very Old Testament-y kind of exorcism / summoning evocation that curses the spirit if it doesn't appear, and bullies the poor thing into service, right? And the
Yeah,
other,
that's what they're calling them in the grimoire, are servants.
like, I don't know, would you go up to a king or a duke or whatever and tell it to its face, hey, you're a servant? I mean, like, I'm not saying that you can't do it. You can totally do it, but that's not how I would approach it.
You wouldn't do it, and for the simple fact that if you dealt with a Loa or an Orisha, you
Exactly.
would not be disrespectful to that spirit because of the power that it literally could just mash you down and you would disappear. You would not do
Exactly.
that to a king or a duke that was, in the hierarchy of demons. That's why people, like you say, the mixing and moxing can get very confusing for people, because if you don't invoke right and respectively, you can cause problems, not for other people, but for yourself. And we see that with people that invoke demons and send them out. They don't know how to call them back in. They don't know how to banish them. They don't know how to command properly with a respectful way. You get a lot of issues that come out of that. And that's what we see with a lot of people nowadays that are like, oh, I want to summon a demon.
Like,
And
okay, there's plenty of
it's
books
not
out
that easy.
there. Hmm?
It's not that easy. The same thing with an angel. You cannot force anything. I think you're being very disrespectful when you're working anything in spirit and you're assuming that it is your servant.
Well, yes, that is the modern interpretation. In the traditional in the traditional forms, there's a very I don't know, a hierarchy based system of commanding, essentially. And of course, it's also based on the systems of that mythology,
Right.
as well, right? So, like, for example, do angels have free will, right? And if they're being called upon by humans who are supposed to be like the favored creation of God, depending on who you talk to or depending on what you read to, um, who's to say that you can't use that flavor of that system, that mythology in the system?
Yeah. I think a lot of people get confused when with the Solomon seals and King Solomon, because a lot of people are like, he invoked demons and he controlled them. He was able to get them, and I think there's sometimes there's
Are
a
you referring to
confusion.
the lesser key or the greater key?
Well, I've heard it with the lesser key.
Okay.
With the lesser key. And a lot of people that I talk to, when they talk about demonology or either working with demons, they always go back to King Solomon, how he commanded, how he was able to control them.
Well,
And
yeah, that's the whole idea behind Solomonic magic, that it stems from that myth, right? That Solomon commanded demons. God gave him wisdom to be
right.
able to do that, or so the story goes.
So
And
yeah.
yeah, and according to the Testament of Solomon, at least, that's how he rebuilt the temple of the temple, by subjugating and controlling the demons to do it for him.
Was he able to command them to that level because God was the higher power over that? Because they were under
Exactly.
God, right? It wasn't that they were bowing down just to Solomon. They were bowing down to God because God gave
Gave
Solomon the
him
power.
exactly.
And that's where people get confused, because if Jesus or God didn't come down and zap you and tell you that you're commanding demons in his behalf, and you feel like you have that power to do it, I think that's very, you got to be really careful.
Well,
We
yeah,
got to be
like
careful
that.
with ego.
Yeah, that in the original form, that's exactly how it is. You purify yourself, you fast for a few days, you recite the prayers of purification. Then when you get into the circle, you start, prayers of authority, right? Appeal to the higher power to be able to have that right to command, right?
Yeah.
So again, traditional form or the original forms. And of
Well,
course, you know, properly making the circle and the implements, and having the correct correspondence of the incenses and all that other stuff, and making the medallion, the talismans out of the proper metal, all that other stuff that goes along with it. And it's like, that's a lot of work.
Well, it's a commitment. And if it's a form of the magic that you practice, then you understand the importance of going through the full ritual to have the ceremony come out the way that it's supposed to come out. There's no shortcuts. I get really irritated sometimes with people that feel like, oh, let's just throw everything in the bowl and shake it up, and then it appears. What are you going to do with it if it doesn't go right? If your protection isn't up, if you're not prepared, it would be my worst fear. There's a show that I watch, and it's Dresden Style. Are y'all getting the feedback?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
I don't know why. Maybe when I get too close to it. Let me see. But in the Dresden File, there was an episode where a person summoned a demon, and they were in a ring of salt, and she accidentally kicked the salt where it was an opening. She summoned the demon in, but because the circle was broken, the demon had power to come out, and he ended up killing her. And it was because she did not do the ritual right. She didn't do it correctly. And it always stuck with me, because with any type of deity that you work with, there's definitely guidelines, there's foundations, there's rituals. Like Marcus was saying, a lot of times you have to fast, you have to clean, you have to, there's certain steps that have to be taken into place. And I would assume I would even be even more careful with working with demons, just because I'm not versed in that energy.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like in the traditional forms, definitely there is a method to the work that has to be followed, right? And there are I guess regulations and rules that have to be met, and certain criteria, right? But again, we're talking about traditional, not modern, right? That's a little bit different.
Now, I was thinking too, though, because going back to the grimoire that we do have access to, like reading the cards or doing the zodiac signs using astrology, by looking at Tanya's, I kind of see similarities there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to add this up here. Are you able to see this guy here? Okay, this is Tanya's demon.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. We'll say. So you're looking here, and he is the ruler over the wind and the seas, and she is an air sign. She's very good at communication, which goes back to air as well. And he disregards the rules a lot. And Tanya does what the fuck she wants.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing you have to understand too is that in the methodology of the Golden Dawn and Thelema, there's a name of the game called correspondences, right? So as far as I remember in the original Ars Goetia from the Lemmigeddon, I don't think there were attributions like this in the grimoire. It wasn't until like Aleister Crowley, like the GD Aleister Crowley's, when they started appearing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with the name of the game of correspondences, it depends on who's writing the book, right? According to the GD, these 72 spirits of the Goetia rule over the deacons of the Zodiac.
Well, they have different things here. Like this guy says that it's a duke.
Yeah, and that's correct, at least from the Ars Goetia.
Okay. Now, if we go over to the angel side, what the fuck is it? Let me scroll. Sorry. She's got Michael, and she's very, very drawn to Michael. She uses Michael a lot.
See, the thing is, with the 72... Okay. All right, so... this is just an extrapolation of my reading and understanding of these angels. So these angels are derived from that 72 name of 72 the 72-fold name of God, right?
Right. Well,
So
no, not necessarily, because those are that's
no, they are derived from the 72 names of God. The method to make the actual angelic names, I believe, comes from Agrippa's system too. So what you do is that you add the suffix of al to that name to create that angel.
so like Lamed Lamed Hey,
Yeah,
AL.
no, it's what's the aleph and lamed, and there's one other suffix that you can put on, but it's usually aleph lamed at the end.
Okay.
And depending on how you do it, you either keep the gematria, the numerical value, the same, or it changes by adding to that number. So you, depending on that methodology, you might have to change the word, change the name to fit the numerical value. It's a little confusing, but for now, let's just
It
say
makes sense to me.
you just add al at the end of it to create the angel, right?
Okay, interesting. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Because if you guys want to jump in, if you have
So
any questions.
I have to say, I looked through the grandma. I couldn't find anything about my demon anywhere. I was trying to find extra information. I was like,
Well, what's your
there's
birthday,
nothing about my demon.
Shishi? I'll look it up. When's your birthday?
26 January. I
The
was like,
thing. Oh,
20.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's not there. And I was like trying to find the different names of it. Maybe it was spelled differently.
Did you
Nothing.
say,
I was like,
did you say
my
two?
demon's an enigma.
It's interesting with this grimoire because it's almost like they took the astrological points and assigned it to the demon. So really, how do you know that the demon is your characteristic, or are they just going by the characteristics of the zodiac?
From what I can tell, that they're just using these as this setup as a correspondence.
Yeah, because if you looked up a Libra and you went off of that birth date, you're going to find those characteristics with an air sign person, which if you literally could put that under that demon and say, well, this is the demon's characteristics. So I guess when it comes to grimoires and the information too, you have to research and make sure you're getting the proper information.
Okay, the one other thing, because I don't really do astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Libra's, what's the ruling planet?
Venus.
Venus. Okay.
So it could be, it could be in. I'm sorry, I'm choking on popcorn over here. That's what I get my butt being greedy.
See, but the thing is, yeah, it's honky dory for that demon, right? But what about all the other dukes, which have a Venusian flavor, which are related to Venus, which is what that ranking system is, right?
Right.
Kings are the sun, the dukes are Venusian, earls, I believe, are Mars. I believe presidents, I think, are Mercury, and so on and so forth. And there's only one Saturnian spirit, one knight in that system.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So really, as an
So,
air sign with Venus, I could literally connect with any Venetian demon.
well, yes, that would be coming from like the demonolatry perspective, or the LHP, right?
Right.
You would choose spirits that match with your
My
inherent
element or my planet.
attributes, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, myself, strongest elements are fire and water, fire taking the primary, right? Um, to a demon land, and my weakest elements would be air and earth, right? To a demonolator, or whoever follows the correspondences, I could either play to my strengths, fire, water, or balance myself out with air and earth, right? To cover the imbalance, right? So again, it really depends on how you want to work with them, how you want to attribute those particular qualities, right? Because again, each system in their original form has their own already. It's like, what else do you want to add on, right? I'm not saying the system is perfect, right? But I mean, like, again, you know, in the more modern era of magic, like, you know, anything goes, I guess, right? If you're not following like traditional formats.
Yeah, if you're not following traditional formats, then like you're right. There are a lot of people that throw everything in but the kitchen sink, if it works for them. Anthony Hutchison wants to know, have I missed my demon? Anthony, put your birthday up there, and maybe we can find your demon for you, or the demon that corresponds with that birthday.
Yeah, Shishi, this one is yours. Is number 62.
Right, which I believe is, let me see. Did I mess up the name?
Valak.
Huh?
Valak.
I think that's what I looked up. I could be wrong.
Sorry, what day were you born, Shishi?
January
20
26th.
January 26th?
Isn't Valak the demon in the Conjuring movies? I thought so.
Maybe I looked at the wrong one. I was like, that doesn't seem like, let me see. Trying to find the link.
Anthony says it is.
Okay, so I'll give you I'll just give you a little thing about correspondences. So this grimoire states that this particular spirit are attributes of the people who were born January 25th to the 29th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remember how I said the Golden Dawn and, you know, Aleister Crowley and they rewritten that grimoire to suit their needs, right? For Valak specifically, in Crowley's version, yeah, the days that it rules, because to them that correspondence rules over the deacons of the zodiac. That its days are from December 3rd to the 12th. So with Shishi, you said you were born in January?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. January.
And what was the day?
26.
26? Okay. So in this system, your demon should, like the one that would be closest to you in terms of attributions, would be Forest.
What's he do?
President Forest, the 31st spirit, mighty president, appears as a form of a strong man in human shape. He can give the understanding to men how they may know the virtues of all herbs and precious stones. He teaches the arts of logic and ethics in all their parts. If desired, he makes men invisible, and in some texts say invincible, and to live long, and to be eloquent. And he can discover treasures and recover things lost, and rules over 29 legions of spirits. That's in the illustrated Goetia.
I like him.
But so again, like, it depends on which system you're using, which author decides to add what correspondence to what, right? If you just want to go simply like, hey, which demon attracts me the most, right? Because in the modern interpretations of spirits, at least what it's coming to, is that they're adopting less the pigeonholed view of spirits, where this spirit can only do this, where the view now is spirits can do anything that they're tasked, and the only real difference of what can be tasked is your relationship to it, right? So in that logic, then any demon or entity can become a guardian, or be asked to be a guardian.
What do you know about Lilith?
Aside from being the queen of demons, mother of demons, first wife of Adam, hated the patriarchy, does not like humans. Oh, baby eater. There's another one.
Oh, and she married somebody else. She married an angel.
That too. In
I'm
some
trying to find.
interpretations, she's supposed to be the mother of Cain. So
Oh, wait a minute, Anthony. Your demon is Amadushas. Did I say that right, Marcus?
ambitious.
Yes.
I have Anthony as Zagan.
He's a
Really,
cool
for
one too.
January 21st?
Yeah, the one that's up here on screen is January 20th through the 24th.
Well, again, you can choose whatever correspondences you want from whatever grimoire or whatever attracts you, right? I'm not the occult police.
And then Callie is, shit, I can't see. Hold on. Let me see, number 50. This one, Furcus. Now, that's not the same one that you were talking about, number 31, though, right?
No. Foras. Foras is the
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, Jed, we're trying to figure it out. Everybody's got a different answer. Take the one you like the most.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was something that I came across way back when I was doing more research into the Goetia. I believe it was like a podcast with Aaron Leach on it, and he was going over the methodology of working with the Ars Goetia, and the way he explained it was that you're actually supposed to choose one demon that you want to work with that becomes the main familiar in that system, and you work with that one specifically until it points you to another spirit that you can work with, or it goes beyond what it needs, what it can do.
Okay. Sky Diva, I have for you it Focalore. Did I say that right? Focalore? Okay. And then Jed, let me look up Jed.
So, Marcus, let me ask you, say you are drawn to a particular demon, but it has nothing to do with your astrological sign or your birthday. If you're just kind of called to work with a demon, are you allowed? I mean, do you have the free will to kind of move, because we know each demon does particular things, just like angels.
Mm-hmm.
So say you have a demon that you need to do a particular thing that this other demon that works with you will not. Are you allowed to kind of invoke and ask for that help?
Well, again, like which mythology are you, like which tradition and which system are you using, right?
Gotcha.
It comes to question, right? So it can be a yes, it can be a no, right? But again, I don't tell people how to practice their magic, right? That's not what I'm here for. Well, that's not what I'm gonna do.
This one here is for Jed Orias. Callie, I forgot what I said. What did I say? Focalore for Callie? I don't remember.
So, Marcus, can you explain to us a little bit about the hierarchy? Because we know that we have kings, we know we have dukes, we know we have prince. Can you kind of break that down a little bit for people who may not understand that?
Okay. In the Ars Goetia, there are 7 rankings of demons in this system, and I believe it follows the actual medieval rankings that that were used during the medieval times. So it would go from kings, dukes, and princes, and all the way down to knights, in that order. Now, there have been many interpretations as to the rankings, but the way it's presented in the Ars Goetia, it's more due towards the type of personality of the spirit and the type of metal that's associated with it when you make its talisman or its medallion.
I'm trying to go. Go ahead, Lynna.
That's exactly what it is, Maricela. You're muted, Shishi.
I know. I wasn't sure how to form my question yet, so I was like, let me think over it. But so I know you said like the different systems. So no matter which system, are each dim. Okay, let me try this again. So the system, would a demon be a different ranking in one system as opposed to the other, or is his ranking still the same no matter the system?
Yes, it will change because of what the author, I guess, how the author wrote it or how the author sees it, right? There are consistencies though, like Lucifer, Satan is still at the top, at least within the Christian grimoires, and mostly. Depending on if you're using, I think it was the where hierarchy, where it's not instead of Satan, Lucifer, it's Beelzebub that is ranked as top, and then Lucifer, Satan the next. I think that's the where one. Don't quote me on that.
What are you looking up, Tonya?
I'm just going through the different the hierarchy and things like that. I think that it's so much when you try to figure out how to work with them, because you really have to research. You can't just go by one particular thing, and like Marcus said, it really depends on what type of the magic do you feel drawn to, because everything seems to be different from each system that you look at.
No,
but I think
go ahead.
No, and so I think for a lot of us, it could be confusing. It definitely could be confusing. We need the Demon King to probably do a class on evoking, on when you should, when you should not, and the proper way to do it.
Well, simply put, right? You have to understand, like in the grimoire tradition, all those grimoires are their own systems, right? And they present their own hierarchies, right? If you wanted to make an amalgamated hierarchy, go right ahead, right? No one's stopping you, right? But again, you have to understand that depending on like which systems you're pulling it from, they also treat those spirits differently and how you call on them, and other requirements that are needed to summoning that particular spirit from that particular book, right? At least that's how it goes, right? So again, you can't be mixing and moxing, so haphazardly, I should say.
Okay, so like if I'm going to use this one, then I need to stick with this one and not try to mix it with something off of your bookshelf.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Or you can just go to the original source material and interact with them from there. Like it's your choice.
Now, when I think about, let's say, when we were traveling back from Oregon, and we had demons surrounding the truck. Now, in my mind, to me, they're like little imps.
Those weren't demons.
Huh?
Those weren't demons.
What were they?
They were something else. They weren't demons.
Were they like little imps? Okay.
Well, some of them can be, but I don't choose the form that they take.
Okay, because to me, it seemed like imps.
Then they appear as imps to you. That's how you understand them.
Okay. What are imps?
Imps are supposed to be like mischievous little demons that are essentially mischief makers. They can do damage, but they're considered like low level entities for the most part.
Okay.
So if they weren't imps,
at least from my understanding of them.
so if they weren't imps, what were they?
I think you already know the answer to that, Auntie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me move on to my next question then. So my wonderful kids brought me the King Solomon, the 44 Seals book for Mother's Day. And I love it because the artwork that's in it, and then of course
the greater key, or the Key of Solomon. Yeah,
so
that's
that's
a completely different system though.
It is a completely different system, and it's interesting because I wanted the book, but when you look at the seals, of course, each seal does something. It pertains to something different, and it deals with a different demon that carries out that particular action. The thing that I'm curious about, though, with the seals is how do you know if you're not particularly using one demon to evoke to bring about the power of the seal, and you're trying to command that, how do you know what seal to use and the proper way to use it if you get something like this?
Well, as far as I don't really use that system, but as far as I understood when I read through it, it's just something that you make and you wear on you.
Right. So you don't really have to invoke anything. You're literally the talisman, the symbol.
Well, yeah, but there's a way, there's a methodology in the book to make them. And yet their prayers and all the other things that you have to observe, and the I think it's called the elective.
Yeah, I do see the prayers in it to activate. So they give you activation prayers and things that you're supposed to do to work with the seals and the particular demons that are connected with the seal.
Yeah, do they have the election? Do they explain the elections in that book?
They don't. They really don't.
So that's also key in the original source material. You have to do it on the day and hour of that particular virtue that you're trying to capture.
Right.
And if you go even further, you have to do an astrology chart to make sure that there are no harmful interactions with the 7 traditional planets either. Right, but I think in that book they only go by the planetary day and hour. So
do they? I don't even think they go by the planetary day and hour in this book. They literally give you the seal. They tell you what the seal is for, and they give you the prayer to say.
Well, the thing is, it's like, yeah, it's still the design itself, and if you believe it, then
it has power.
It carries that virtue. But if you want the most bang for your buck, right, you want to capture that virtue when you make the damn thing.
Right. So you go deeper, and that would be the planetary sources, the hour, the day. Got you.
Yeah, it's just like with rituals and stuff too, or spells, depending on what you do. You can do, if you want to do money magic, do money magic. But if you really want to do really powerful money magic, do it on Thursday. Do it during the hour of Jupiter and all kinds of stuff like that. But if I want money on Monday, I'm going to get money on Monday.
With planetary magic, you can do it on any day of the 7 days. You just have to, what you're dealing with is the action of that planet, right?
And you have to also look at what planet is in your money house, because when I had my chart done, they told me not to do money magic on Thursdays because Saturday is a better day for me because money comes and goes too fast for me. If I do it on the day of Saturn, on Saturday, I'll hold on to my money better. So if I did it on Thursday, my money would just go out.
That's so you disregard the rules like your demon.
And if you really want to get deeper into it, you can have a really good, like a traditional astrologer, tell you which planets are actually you're allergic to. I can't remember the actual term, but there are planets that people are, they call it hindered or something, or afflicted planets.
Yeah.
So certain types of forces that you do in your magic, it's not that you can't do it, it's just if you don't prepare, like, offerings to the spirits, please make my magic work, or cultivate
some
a relationship with
obstacles.
those forces, then you're going to have some extreme effects or no results at all from your magic.
Well, even Jed is saying with the seals too, he's saying you can make it work, but really hit it with good timing and design. And I think that's what any type of ritual or magic that you're using, you really want to work with the planets to get the best for your bang. You really do, because it's going to make it more powerful.
Well, the planets are only one set of forces. You can use the elements, you can use the signs.
True.
Like there are tons of forces out there. It's just, it's not that they're one. It's not that they're one, like they're greater. It's just the degree of like a separation or influence depending on like what you're trying to do, right? Definitely, you can have like a very effective earth elemental magic geared towards money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just either do you want to deal with gnomes or do you want to deal with planetary forces, right? Because they do have
with me and them gnomes, y'all, let me tell y'all a story. My mom went through this gnomes fetish where she had about 15 of them boogers in her yard, the statues. And if I tell you, the energy in that house is so freaking chaotic and it's just crazy. I wouldn't even advise anybody that wants to put them all out in your yard. You have to really research elementals and figure out what works for your energy.
Did you see that movie, the gnome movie?
Girl, I don't even mess with gnomes. My mom has me so jaded. I just can't. It's just like you see little people all over the place, and it's chaotic energy. When I go there, it gives me a headache. And Marcus had to point that out to me because I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Every time I go to my mom's house, it was arguments and just chaos, and it's because of the gnomes. She literally made a garden for them, and that's where they hang out.
We're gonna have to watch that movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can. Leprechauns and gnomes. I don't do little bitty people.
I don't like.
I do not. I do not do little bitty people. I can't do the energy.
I would like to point out
Kelly,
that
I
I'm
would
a
love
little bitty
to.
person.
Huh?
I would like to point out that to you, I'm a little bitty person.
Well, I mean, you got a little bit of height on you.
Have you seen the difference between me and Tonya when we stand?
All of y'all are little compared to me. All of y'all. But I can deal with the energy. But it's something about gnomes. I don't know. I do not connect with them. Callie, yes, if you can message me or I'll message you. I would love to get the original book, and because I'm really interested in learning more about the seals and how to use them properly. So thank you. Oh, you guys, I hate to pull out because it's a good conversation, but I promised my mom that I would be heading to the house for Father's Day.
Well,
So
it's 3:00 anyway. So happy Father's Day to all of y'all, even the women,
yes.
because we mama and we daddy too.
Happy Father's Day, guys. Marcus, it was really nice to see you. I'm gonna probably ring you after, but guys, thanks for joining us. I guess we figured out.
Is there any last words you would like to say, Marcus?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess I don't have anything inspirational, but like, take some time, do your research,
Pick one and stick with
pick
that
one
one.
and stick with it, right? Or go traditional, go modern. It's really up to you on how you want to work, right? No one's stopping you on how you want to work. And hey, once you get into a good relationship with said spirits, then you can make your own system, right?
Yeah, I found a lot of demons through Jewish folklore. So, all right. Well, we will see you guys back here next Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget, we have our book club on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.